Welcome to the Young and Single series once again. My name is Hannah Abrahams-Appiah. In today's episode, we want to be looking at navigating social and economic environments. Navigating social and economic environments. In case you are new to this channel, on this channel we share interesting tips for young ones to be able to navigate the complex maze of late adolescent and early young adulthood. It's a learning platform, and I believe that the resources available on this channel will be a blessing to you and to all the other listeners. Thank you for joining. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, leave a comment, press the notification bell in case there are new videos, and you'll be alerted when they are ready. Today, I am talking about navigating social and economic environments. Well, it's a topic I have decided to share because of experience I have had. In the few years I have been involved in what I call Help Save the Young Ones campaign. In most countries, we find out that there are different social and economic classes. We have the upper income earning class, we have the middle income earning class, and the lower income earning class. And in all these earning classes, you also find out that they create different social classes. And sometimes these classes overlap. Other times they are as far apart from each other as possible. When you find people from one social class being able to healthily relate to those in other social classes, it's so beautiful. But sometimes it can be very challenging and very difficult for people to cross over the various classes for different reasons. But that is not why I am on this subject today. Today, we want to learn how a young one who finds himself in one particular class, especially the low-income class, will be able to bridge the challenges he or she is faced with and be able to maximize his or her potential. I am doing this particular video because I have been privileged to work with young ones in social classes along the three various classes and overlaps. But when you meet people in the low-income social classes, sometimes some of them sell themselves short. They have so much potential, they have so much giftings, but they are limited because of the environment they find themselves in. So what did I say? Each child has potential, but the economic factors sometimes create a bridge and serve as an obvious limitation or a subconscious limitation. So some are not even aware that these social classes or these economic factors is the reason why they are behaving the way they are behaving. So what happens to a child who grows up from a poor background, very poor background, limited amenities, parents don't have money? You'll find out that there's a cultural and a lifestyle difference between the wealthy and the poor. Stark lifestyle values, cultural values. And when you bring them together, sometimes they struggle to fit in. You find a child who has never seen a television sometimes. You find a child who is not used to air conditions. You find a child who doesn't know what goes on in a mall. You find a child who is not used to so much comfort and luxury. Everything is like overwhelming to his senses, sight, touch, taste, everything. Why? Because he or she may have grown up with very limited resources and so does not know how to manage this. It's a sad story, but remember, went for mission, and in a particular village, it was a low-income village, a young boy was given a tin of milk, and the boy refused the tin of milk. And we were wondering, why are you refusing a tin of milk? And he said, he can't afford a tin of milk. His family can't afford a tin of milk. And so if his taste falls in love with milk, you are going to create a challenge for him because he will no longer be able to afford that milk, and he would have to find a way to feed that craving. So he prefers the money to buy his local food, which would satisfy him and will last him forever. Why had he limited himself to his local food because subconsciously he believed that he just doesn't have the economic status to afford a tin of milk, which for some of us may be so basic in most homes. So there's a cultural and a lifestyle difference. So the way they behave, the way they talk, the schools they attend, it is so different. The gap can be so wide. Then we have financial disparities. You find out that a child may be acutely aware that my family has no money, so I cannot afford A, B, C, D. And that creates a feeling of inadequacy, insufficiency, low self-esteem, resentment, pressured. And so such children are easily pressured into wanting to belong. And if they are not careful and they don't have support from parents, from church, from counselors, they want to fit in at all costs. A young lady grew up, sad story, with parents who were not financially stable. Their mom had left them and the father took care of them. He died sadly. And so there was nobody taking care of her. They lived with so much insufficiency that one day somebody wanted to give them a treat and carried them to a shop and asked them to choose anything. She chose toffee, one toffee. A whole shopping center, all she could pick was toffee. In her limited mind, she just couldn't take advantage of the opportunity of take as much as you want. It was not in her dictionary. She had grown up with so much financial insufficiency that disparity between the financially comfortable and the low income had affected her choices, her ability to reason, her desires, and everything. The danger is when this financial disparity begins to put you on the pressured path. Then we find out such children are easily affected by peer pressure, in this case, negative peer pressure. The wealthier peers may engage in activities that require a certain level of financial resources, whereas this other child's parents cannot afford. I remember a group in a particular school were in a club, and at every club meeting, they were required to bring an equivalent of $20 per head. If it is in my Ghana currency, that would be about 250 Ghana cedis per meeting. Now, here was this child whose whole term's pocket allowance is not even up to 200 Ghana cedi. How can she join that club? It will not be possible for her because her parents don't have that money and she cannot afford to be able to do that. So that peer pressure and the financial disparity becomes so high that such children sadly now want to conform. They want to find different ways of making money to be able to fit into those societies. It's a serious issue going on among certain low-income people. Others don't have that problem because they have learned to live content with what they have. I emphasize content. The Bible tells us godliness with contentment is great gain. Kudos to parents who have been able to teach their children to be content. But as much as parents are doing their best, pastors are doing their best, unconsciously, many young ones are still being affected by this. There's also educational disparity among children from low income and high income. A lot of high income parents are able to take their children to specialized schools, private schools, high tuition, better facilities. Teacher-student ratio is less. They have counselors. They have people that will guide the child and harness potential. But these poor income earners, some of them cannot afford even the free basic education that is available in public schools because sometimes they have to buy exercise book, pay certain levies for exams, which is so insignificant, but that parents can just not afford it. Such children sometimes need scholarships to be able to do public schools. And so you find out that the child who goes to the public school with a class size of 80, 100, and the one who went to a private school with a class size of 25 have educational disparities, access to technology, access to counsel. But good news is there are many children who have had limited educational facilities but have done so well. Results are excellent and have been able to move on. If you are listening to me, Don't limit yourself irrespective of the social class you find yourself. And don't compare yourself with another person. Another economic disparity is it creates social barriers, because there are certain social circles you find very difficult to penetrate or access. Certain opportunities you just can't go. There are places you are even sent to and you don't fit in. There was a camp meeting for young people, and the parents who brought their children were from a certain social class, and a few others had been given scholarships from the low-income social class. When they went for the camp meeting, interestingly, it was a good camp meeting which made available resources for everybody, but the classes just could not meet. The children who were from low-income classes just could not fit into the children from wealthy classes. The examples they were given, the things they were talking about, the facilities they had were so comparatively different from the children from low-income classes. So if you were very observant in those programs, you realize that those children started isolating themselves. They sit at the back. They don't engage much. Also, career aspirations. A young lady went for missions and went to one low-income earning community. And she was asking the young children, what are your career aspirations? Most of them, their maximum career aspirations were to be a teacher or a nurse, because those were the works they had seen as the highest levels in their community. There was a community nurse and there were teachers in their classrooms. When you ask them who wants to be a medical doctor, nobody. Who wants to be a politician, nobody. Their career aspirations were limited to their world, what they see. Their school, senior high schools they want to choose were schools that were within their community. They just could not think of traveling out of the country or going to schools that to them were first-class schools. Parental expectations from such children are sometimes so high. Your parents are hoping that that child is going to be the solution for the family. So they put so much responsibility on you. Do well, go to school, come and take care of your siblings. So you have not even finished school, but there's this burden of, oh my God, I didn't have these children, but I'm going to be a deputy parent already. And then it puts so much stress on the children. It puts an issue on identity development, because they cannot identify who they really are. Are they who they are based on their financial situations of their parents? Is it based on the financial literacy they have? And many of such people are financially illiterate. When you get close to them, you find out that they have resources, but they waste it. Recently, I had an interesting discourse with a young lady who makes let me say, $5 a day. If you calculate it, she's making $25 a week. It means she's making close to $100 a month. But she couldn't tell me what she was using her money for. Why? Because poor financial literacy. Now, what do I want to gain by what we have just shared? As I'm creating the awareness of what happens in these social classes, first and foremost, young one, realize that you may have been born into such a family through no fault of yours and through no fault of your parents. Stop blaming your parents for being poor. A young boy one day told his mother, why are you so poor? With tears, why are you so poor? Because he was in a school where the social classes were so marked, and the social classes made it difficult for him to be able to fit into certain classes. Make the most of available options. One, be content with who you are and what you have, and make the most of available options. There are options for growth. If it's a public school God has allowed you to go to, make the best out of it. Today, thanks to technology, we can learn online, develop skills, and become the best version of yourself. You can change your economic situation with better education, better choices, developing needed skills. So who you are presently, based on your financial situation of your family, does not determine who you will be tomorrow. Who you will be tomorrow is a function of who you know that God has created you to be, the possible available options there for you. Thanks to technology, thanks to Google, thanks to short courses, you can develop certain marketable skills and become a better version of yourself. And that brings me to another point I want to talk about today in particular. Use technology to your advantage. Whether you are in the high income earning brackets, middle income earning brackets, or low income earning brackets, use technology to your advantage. Next time we'll talk about the dangers of also being in a high income earning bracket, and not using that opportunity to your advantage. Many people are in high income earning brackets and have become so comfortable. I have a video called Comfort Can Be an Enemy. You can watch that. But use technology to your advantage. When I say that, what do I mean? Now, technology has come to stay. So we have a generation that was born in the technological age. And today, many people go and use technology for education, but many of the young ones find themselves more using social media for communication, for content creation, for education, for finding out what's going on in the various fields of life. And many young ones are not able to differentiate reality from fiction on social media and staged activities. If you have ever watched a play, or if you have ever watched a content creator, before they come out with content, they stage whatever they are doing. There's lighting, there are cameras, there are people filming, they do makeup, and so they look all propped up for a particular program or project. Now, the young ones watching cannot differentiate the staged one from reality. And because of that, many people want to fit in. They see somebody as a celebrity and want to become like that person. There's a desire to blend in, and that desire sows a seed of covetousness. They are willing to pay any price. There's also the desire for materialism. They want to get money. They want to be wealthy. They want to look like the celebrities they see. So there's a strong pull for money and status, especially if they were born in families without money and status. Even those born in families with money and status want more. Greed. Then people now are willing at any cost to make money online, because now you can make so much money online that they are willing to produce content over value. They don't think of the value system of the content they are producing. Once I can make money out of it, it's fine. And so they are generating content that could be, morally very, very subjective or morally wrong, especially when you are a Christian. Now we also have people who have become social media addicts just by watching people spending time on social media, trying to understand what is going on behind the world, comfortable behind the screens. They have become addicted to the social media life. And then many of them have lost their morals and etiquette in the process, because they think that the person behind the screen is not a real person. So hello, highs are omitted, proper language is omitted, proper greetings, thank you, please. All these values are just thrown away because of social media. Many young ones now have eroded their time management skills. Instead of developing personal development, career skills, managing time, they waste a lot of time because they just want to be like the people they are watching without taking actionable steps to become like them. Many of them now have access to strangers' influence. You don't know the people behind social media, but you think they are it. Because when you read the reviews about them, when you watch their pages, you look at the pictures they are posting, they look like everything you dreamt you want to be. Many young ones like this also now are avoiding the process. They're avoiding the process of growth. They're avoiding the process of building up. And we have sadly a lot of parental absenteeism and parents not being involved. A low-income parent, many cannot even afford phones that are touch screens, phones that are technologically suitable for social media activities. So whatever their children may be doing or engaged in, they even have no idea. There's also a lot of information overload. When they need any information, it's just a Google away. But all the information that comes out, which is right and which is wrong, who should they believe? Many of them are coming from broken homes, and in looking for comfort and space and parental support, social media becomes their safe space. They don't want to go through the mill of process and growth. I've mentioned that several times. I want to make a point of caution. Social media should be used to your advantage. Don't let it now become a negative influence for you. Use the knowledge on social media, to develop yourself, to get access to free resources, get educated, add value to what you have and who you are presently, such that the day your skills are needed, people will be willing to pay for those skills. Think about the social class you find yourself in and the economic status. And why do you need a better economic status? For better living, for future generations, so that your children don't go through what you want to go through. Very good reasons. And then now strategize on how to surmount these challenges instead of allowing social media to become a negative influence. Let it be now the positive influence. And don't allow the economic status and the social barriers to prevent you from blooming. Look within yourself, and every psychological limitation that you may have put in, I pray that God will help you root them out. Because one of my favorite scriptures is Psalm 139, verse 14. You are fearfully and wonderfully created. And if God has created you specially, fearfully and wonderfully, you have all the potential to become anything. We have heard success stories of from grace to from grass to grace, from zero to hero, from nothing to something. It works for some, it doesn't work for others because people jump the process. When you go through the processes of life, you will become better. That is your starting point, but that is not your end point. Don't give up on yourself before you even start. A young girl said, I don't want to go to university because my friends who are wealthy are looking down on me in secondary school. And so she's given up before she wanted to start. By God's grace, we have challenged and encouraged her that she has so much potential and there's so much more ahead of us. If God can show you your tomorrow, you wouldn't give up on yourself today. Many have failed because they gave up on themselves and didn't try. I hope today's message also challenges you and encourages you to be much better, irrespective of the social class you were born into or you find yourself in presently. Keep pushing, keep learning, keep doing the right thing. And I know that the Lord will get you to where you need to get to. In Jesus' name. Thank you for watching. Like the video, share the video, subscribe. And I know that your life will not be the same again. God bless you. Bye-bye.